Jeff, in an earlier interview, you had mentioned your great respect for Walt Disney. Share with us your thoughts about his brother Roy Disney.
Okay. Roy is I think, is a very compelling figure in Disney history, and I think that he's underappreciated. I think by many undervalued, and I think in some ways even unnoticed by a lot of folks that think about Walt Disney and the Walt Disney Company, Walt Disney Corporation. But if you go back and read the history and you go back and really study what was taking place, I mean, Roy and Walt had a very good relationship, and Walt in some ways just really idolized his older brother. And his older brother was always taking care of Walt, which I think showed up, through the course of their life together. Walt went into the military to follow the footsteps of his older brother. Ended up moving to California for the first time because that's where his brother was already at. That's where Roy was already at. And so I think that as a team, they were incredible. And I think for Walt, Walt got to fill that role as a visionary, but Roy was a guy that was a very steady hand behind the scenes, making sure that things happened. And I think the Disney brothers, as a team, were pretty incredible. And I don't think Walt is Walt without Roy.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you share with us or explain your thoughts on what makes these two brothers such effective leaders?
Well, I think when you put them in a tandem, again, talking about that team, Walt's role, everyone knows. Walt was the visionary. Walt was the front man. Walt was the salesman. He was the one that could pitch an idea. He could tell you the story of a movie. He could, meet you, shake your hand. He could entertain you. He could charm you. But he was a guy that was always chasing a dream and always going forward. That role of visionary was very much his. Roy, on the other hand, had all the administrative skills that maybe that Walt lacked. And so while Walt was able to chase dreams and sell dreams, Roy was the guy behind the scenes putting the blocks together to make sure that whatever Walt was dreaming was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I think as a team, what made them so great, though, as leaders, is that there was a trust that they had. Part of it was because they were brothers, and I don't think there was ever a day that they worried about one another. I don't think Walt ever worried about what Roy was doing. He knew that Roy had his back and was going to take care of him. And I don't think that Roy ever was just worried about Walt from the same way. He knew Walt well. He knew that Walt was a dreamer, and he knew that Walt had an idea, and the ideas were going to work. And Roy really took his job seriously of making sure it happened. And I think what you see as both men passed away is where the company seemed to flounder just a little bit, because it took away two of the driving forces, and both of those things were needed. While Walt was a visionary, and probably Walt's vision for the company, the future, moved forward. Walt Disney World as a Magic Kingdom, and as Epcot was built. Walt had laid those ideas out, even though Epcot wasn't exactly what Walt had dreamed about or what it wanted it to be. So with him out of the mix, that didn't happen. But when you took Roy out of the mix, that business know-how, the mechanics, the relationships that he had cultivated to make it happen, that's where they began to struggle. And so as a team, I think they were inseparable. And I think that's what made Walt Disney great. I think if you take either one of them out of the mix, no one ever hears of Walt Disney. No one knows about the company. They don't get a film made, and there's no theme parks.